Can we call this the great Italian bluff? Did we allow ourselves to get bluffed? Is this a con job? Why did we allow ourselves to get conned by the Italians? Not the first time. PC Chacko, Member of Parliament of the Lok Sabha, Rajiv Rudy joining the debate, has laid the blame on the government from early in the day today. Atul Kumar Ranjan, National Secretary of the Communist Party of India. Rajiv Rudy, may I ask you why you blame the government? Why do you blame the government in the Marines case?
Well, let's take it the other way around. The government must have appeared in the Supreme Court and must have explained the Supreme Court that look, here are people whom, for certain diplomatic reasons, we have sent them back home earlier, and they are undergoing trial here, and this is on a second time they want to go on a sort of a payroll, and that the Supreme Court must have been convinced by what the lawyers of the government must have suggested, and the no objection given by the government that these sailors who are fugitives for us may be allowed to go across. Certainly, I agree that there must be some diplomatic concerns which the government must have addressed, and what were those diplomatic concerns, what was the reason that the government agreed. But now the Italian government says that the Indian government did not respond to their moving the thing in under a UN law for litigation. Now, if this was so, the Indian government was aware that there was some impediment which the Italians were making and grounds which they were creating on the basis on which they could have acted. Why was the government not thinking about it? Why did the government did not take that into account and allowed this to happen? So this UN Convention on Law of Sea, which was taken into account by the Italian government, saying that they have filed a plea there. Was the Indian government not aware of it, or was it the government so naive not even to acknowledge that aspect that this could be made into a ground for keeping? So these are the questions which the government needs to answer. I do not know what the solicitors here or there argued for them, but the fact remains that the Indian government did know, and there were apprehension expressed not only. Are
you saying the Indian government? No, Rajiv Rudy laid clear here today, because one section is saying that the Indian government came under great pressure from the Italians and went slow in the case, did not push hard enough, deliberately did a parallel backroom deal with the Italians. Are you saying that, Mr. Rudy?
Well, you see, pardon me, and it's very surprising that whenever a matter refers to whether it was Kim Devi, whether it is Mr. Quattracci, and now these sailors, what is there as far as the Indian government's soft corner towards the Italian government? Or does the Italian government consider India as a banana republic that they can get away with whatever they want? What are the compulsions? Why do they have a feeling that they can get away with this? So this is some question which I may be not correct, I may be absolutely incorrect, but why is that the Italian government takes Indian government for granted? Now this question will come up, and there would be many people in the system asking this question, that why does even the Supreme Court, when it has given an order,
right,
and knowing the possible consequences, why is the Italian government almost treating that this government is absolutely
Mr. Chacko, Mr. Chacko, can you please tell me why you were doing something on a parallel basis with the Italians, which effectively would mean that if they were convicted by the court, suppose these Italian Marines who have killed Indian fishermen were convicted by the court, the moment they are convicted, they can take the next flight and fly back to Italy. I want to know from you tonight, why were you cutting such a deal with the Italians on the side? I'm not talking of what happened at the Supreme Court. I am asking you, why was your government trying to pursue a treaty? Why did it sign a treaty, ratify a treaty on the 17th of December? At the same time that we are trying to get them in court, why were you signing a treaty which would let these Marines go scot-free, or at least serve their sentence in Italy?
Arnav, it is only a coincidence, you know. We are having such treaty with many other countries, not only with Italy. Unfortunately, the whole issue is being, put in a different angle altogether. What's the real issue here? These two Marines who killed the Indian fishermen will not shown any leniency. The government of Kerala was very firm from the very beginning, but when the Supreme Court found that the jurisdiction-wise it should come to Delhi, it should come to Supreme Court, Kerala government do not have the jurisdiction, that is why it came here. Otherwise, it was in Trivandrum.
No, Mr. Chacko. Mr. Chacko, my question is specific to you. I'm asking you tonight, why was India actively pursuing the agreement on prisoner sentence with Italy when you were fully aware of the diplomatic row that you were embroiled in with the Italians over the Marines? The first thing you could have said is we will not pursue this treaty till we have justice for our Marines. Why were you pursuing this treaty on the side?
No, Arnav, these two things you are putting together and trying to read a meaning
but out one has the impact on the other.
The agreement between India and Italy is not the only agreement, bilateral agreement in the similar lines. There are agreements India is simultaneously discussing, and agreements are being made between other countries also. And that does not mean that we are showing any leniency to them.
I'm sorry,
and
sir.
You know, the Supreme Court.
So you are saying
Supreme Court,
you are saying coincidence.
The highest court in the country.
No, Mr. Chacko, I understand what you say on the Supreme Court.
No, please understand that it is not a government decision. Number one, Mr. Arnav, it is not a government decision. The government of India has not taken any decision to release them. And they were given permission to go by the Supreme Court on a specific undertaking given by the Italian ambassador. Italian ambassador in India.
I am only asking you. I am only asking you, Mr. Chacko. I am only asking you a simple question again and again. That we have two things happening. On the one side, we are in court fighting to keep the Italians in India. On the other side, we are signing a deal with the Italians, which allows the Italians, if convicted, to take the next flight to Rome. It doesn't make clear sense to me.
Not only with Italy, Arnav, you are mixing these two things together. India is entering into agreement with various countries, including Italy, for exchanging the prisoners. This is a different thing altogether. That has nothing to do with what is happening in Marine's case. This case, case and the agreement between Italy and India has no connection.
You could have said no. You could have told the Italians that sorry. You know how many countries are there India has entered into agreement with? It is not a single agreement with Italy alone. Sir, you know the simple thing. No, I understand, but I don't. You see, there are two things which happen. I'm putting this to the audience tonight. On the 14th of December, the Italians summon our ambassador and then pull him up saying, you are treating our people badly, you better release them, etc., etc. They need to go home for Christmas. Within 3 days, this agreement with the Italians becomes operational. And what is this agreement all about? That the moment they are convicted, you can serve your sentence in your own country. Which, in other words, if you are convicted by the Supreme Court of India, you will, as per the law, take the next flight to Rome. And in Rome, you will get bail. End of story. Why are we doing that? Why are we giving that leniency is my question. Atul Kumar Anjan, next on the debate. Do you take what PC Chacko is saying at face value?
Congress is trying to defend a defenseless case. And people of this country, all of a sudden, Arnabji, I just want to tell you, it was the earlier helicopter deal which brought Italy into focus in this country. Then this development in the Roman Catholic Empire and all that, the Pope's resignation, that brought into. And now this is a sort of a heinous crime, as you have said it. Why the government? I know the Italians are having a very special connection in this country, and they are using all that, and because of that, such type of treaty was signed.
What do you mean?
And you see, it's a challenge
what do you
to our
mean?
own sovereignty. It's a challenge to our own sovereignty. It's a challenge to our own constitution. It's a challenge to our CRPC and IPC, and it's a challenge to entire judicial system in this country, which exists and which is quite democratic one. And unfortunately, that has been used by these people. I now ask, can government of India take an action against the Italian ambassador in Delhi? Can the Supreme Court say that they have been lost by these people, what the Solicitor General on behalf of Government of India, how they argued the case in the Supreme Court. All these questions now have to be very seriously debated and seen with this, that how these two people, you see, said that they are not coming back, and why the Italian government has informed our government, and what action the Indian government is going to take against the Italian ambassador, and at the same time how we are going to address this situation.
On Newshour tonight, on Newshour tonight, very clearly and explicitly, we find that both the left and the BJP are questioning the Congress party on why they treated the Italians with kid gloves. My question to Vijay Matthew, who's lawyer for the Italian vessel owners from Kochi, is joining us with Charles George, president of the National Fish Workers Forum. Mr. Matthew, tell me, can Italians vote via postal ballot?
To best of my understanding, if you search Google, you can see that Italian citizens can vote under postal vote.
Okay, so why did these gentlemen then have to go to Italy to vote?
Whoever allowed or whoever appearing for the party has to answer.
No, that's not the question.
Was only up to the
no. That's not the question, Mr. Matthew. Mr. Matthew, I'm asking you a question. These people can vote via postal ballot. They have been allowed to go to Italy to vote. That's dodging the system.
I don't know whether, let me say, I don't know whether this Council for the Kerala or this Union of India has argued in the Supreme Court saying that the Italian Marines can vote under postal ballot.
Well,
to my understanding, even today when I searched Google, I could see that Italian citizens who are working or are staying abroad can do postal ballot.
Remarkable. That's absolutely remarkable. Mr. Chacko, I'm going to seek some replies on this one. The government of India could have said there is no need for these men to go to cast a vote, unless you're looking for an excuse to let them go away. Charles George, what do you think of this whole episode and the way in which these Italian Marines have got away? What are your sentiments about it, and who do you blame for it?
It is a ploy, it is a play. The screenplay is done in Rome or Italy, and the direction is done in Delhi. And the actual drama is happened in Kerala High Court and in Kerala Sea. Whether to rise high the sovereignty and territorial integrity of India, whether we raise the issue of traditional fishermen's right for lives and livelihood. These are the main issues. All these issues are not addressed, and we are always proclaimed that we are a sovereign democratic country. Our sovereignty and our democracy, we are subjugate these all things to a small nation like Italy. In this juncture, we had to say that we recall our ambassador from Italy. That is the time. Second thing, if these Marines will not come in the stipulated time, we cut off the diplomatic relations with Italy. That is the only way to settle these problems.
I'd now like to go back to Atul Kumar Anjan, Rajiv Rudi and PC Chacko to return to the political debate. Therefore, Mr. Rudi, in your view, what are the critical issues which have emerged in this controversy? And do you have a follow-up question to Mr. Chacko?
No, my submission is that they're between two nations, and the faith reposed by the Indian government and the Indian courts, and that they had a faith and a trust between the two countries, and they did exhibit and they were generous, allowing them to go out on a parole. Why was this betrayal done? Why was this a preconceived action which the Italian government had made up this mind? Was it a premeditated action to
you have any doubts? You have any doubts that it was premeditated, Mr. Rudi? While you are very well aware that Italians can use postal ballot, you have any doubts?